Hi, this is Natalie with Imago Dei Yoga, here to bring you some yoga basics today. So I've done basics before, starting in January, leading up through the month of March, but I'm kind of backtracking a little bit now that I have, hopefully you can tell, better video quality. So if you've been with me up until now, you know that my lives were a little bit grainy and yeah, so, and with this one, I'm able to add some music. So better video quality, some music for our background to help us get into that yoga flow. Really excited. And yeah, so if you've been with me this whole time, I hope that you'll still just really dive into going back over the basics with me. It's always good to make sure we have a good foundation in yoga. And this month, the goal is to just build up to a nice full 30-minute flow. So we're going to have a good flow today, but we're going to take it very slow, going over Sun A and Sun B again, making sure our forward folds are helpful for our back and our stretching, that our down dogs, we have a good base in the hands and that lift up and back, all the stuff that make for a healthy, safe Sun A and a Sun B. Right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Find your way to your mat. If you're not already, I'm getting to mine. And also, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like my content. It helps me out a lot when you do that. And also leave comments, especially if you have something you want to see in the future. That helps me. All right, so go ahead and find a nice, comfortable seat. We'll start by taking a few breaths, getting into our space here. So big inhale in. Exhale, let it go. Do that again, another big inhale. And release. And the next inhale, go ahead and reach those arms up. Just get a nice big stretch and then forward fold it over the crossed legs, just as far as your body will allow. Take a breath. Then go ahead and come back up, and we're going to switch over to tabletop to warm up our spine. So tabletop, you have hands directly under your shoulders and knees directly under hips. And just a simple flat back, relaxed spine. And then once you're set up, you're going to inhale to drop that stomach and lift that chest and look up. Exhale to arch the back, pulling that pelvis in and looking back towards your thighs. Do that one more time. Inhale, push the stomach down, lift that chest, look up. Then exhale, arch the back, pulling that pelvis in, pushing away from the earth, looking back towards your thighs. And then come back to a neutral spine. Go ahead and bring those big toes together. Take the knees wide. Push the hips back toward the heels. So you're kind of sitting on top of them. If the legs are tight, you probably won't be able to sink all the way, and that's okay. Just take them as far as it's comfortable for you. And then you're going to let the chest sink down toward the mat. Again, just wherever is comfortable for you. Try to relax into the child's pose. And we'll take a few breaths. Try to take them deep down into the stomach, feeling the lower back and stomach expand. And exhale it out. Take another deep breath. And let it go. And then start to press into the hands, and we're going to come up into a plank. So what you're going to want to do, go ahead and start with a tabletop. And while you're in tabletop, so not coming into a full plank, just go ahead and find that tabletop pose. Check in on your hands. You want to make sure the middle fingers are pointed to the top of the mat and the elbows are rotated. So fingers are pointed to the top of the mat, and you just rotate the elbows so that they are facing, the eye of the elbows facing the top of the mat. When you bend them, the elbows stay close to the rib cage. You see that? So that's the goal with the plank pose. And also, if this is already enough pressure on your wrists, you can stay here. This can be your version of a plank for now. Or maybe you can extend the legs out and come down like this. That's a lot of pressure on the wrists, and I'm already feeling it a little bit in my core. This is a good work right here. Or if you want to come up into a full plank, you just come up onto the tippy toes. And there we go. We got a nice full plank. So find your plank, take a breath. And then we're going to come into a down dog. So the hands will stay right where they are, the feet will stay right where they are, and you just push the hips up. And push them back. Neck is relaxed, looking back toward your thighs. Chest is reaching for the thighs. You should feel a little bit of stretch in the shoulders. Fingers are spread wide to help relieve some of the pressure on the wrists. If ever it gets to be too much, you just come down to this tabletop pose, okay?
So pay attention to your body. If it's too much, just come down. And while you're here, take deep breaths. Open mouth exhales help when stuff gets too hard. Big open mouth, side out. Big breath. Take another inhale. Working on this down dog. You can bend the knees a little bit. Sometimes that helps with that lift up and back to have a bend in the knees. You want to be gentle on the stretch on your hamstrings. Don't overdo it. One more big breath. And then we're going to walk the feet forward, finding our way into a forward fold. So just gently walk the feet up. And then go ahead and come in, do a half lift. We'll pause up here in the half lift so that we can go over technicalities in the forward fold. So a forward fold is not a toe touch. Like, you're not keeping a flat back and trying to reach forward. No. And you're also not just hanging there either. All of that, it can strain your lower back and cause injury if you're not careful. So instead, what you're going to do, if you're not super flexible, you're going to bend those knees. Just like me, I'm not super flexible. So bend those knees, and you're gonna connect your stomach to your thighs. This is very important. So you might have a deep bend, that's okay. Then you'll get a little thigh work on top of it. But just make sure that stomach is connected to your thighs. This will protect the lower back and give you an extra stretch right up here along the thighs. It's great. So find this posture and then check in on the neck. We typically, and I'm doing it right now too, we typically like to keep our necks up. It's just kind of a natural response to stay alert. But no, we want to relax in yoga. So we're going to train ourselves to relax the neck and aim the top of the head toward the ground for our forward fold. So I'm looking back at my knees. That's a good way to check in on the neck. Some people are like, what do you mean relax the neck? I mean, let go. Look back towards your knees. All right, so hang out here, and if there's too much blood rushing to the head, that's why we have this half lift. Instead of coming straight up, you come into a half lift, because if you go straight up, what's going to happen? All that blood's going to come pouring out, and you're just going to, pouring down, not out, that's gross, pouring down out of the head, down into the body, and you're going to get lightheaded and possibly fall over. So you come into this half lift, it equalizes the blood pressure, and then you can go up or down. So typically what I do is I go back down, and then I inhale it slowly, coming back up. And then you can reach up, get a nice big stretch, maybe pop the hips forward a little bit. And then we can relax into a mountain pose. So go ahead and bring the arms down by the side. And we're gonna focus on our mountain now. So mountain, you wanna press down firmly into the mat, pull up through the thighs, suck in the core, lift the chest. You might even use your hands to feel what that lift in the chest should feel like. Rib cage. Feeling that lift up in the rib cage. Hands by your side, roll those shoulders down and back. You don't want them up at your ears, you want them down and back. And neck is neutral and relaxed, okay? We're not straining our necks today. So big inhale up, lift up, feel that lift. Exhale, press down into the feet. Do that again, inhale, feel that lift through the body. Exhale again, pressing down. One more time, big inhale. Exhale, push down. Inhale, you can go ahead and take those arms up. This time we're gonna get another nice big stretch. Reaching up, you can try to touch those palms overhead, feeling the stretch. And then exhale, we're coming back down into our forward fold. So again, try to remember what we talked about, bending those knees so that you connect the stomach to the thighs and check in on the neck. Those are the biggest things I see all the time, is people trying to do the toe touch thingy or staying up with the neck and getting neck strain. Don't do either of those. Try to keep a mind of the neck, keep a mind of the stomach connection to the thighs. And then the stretch will come as you try to lift up through the hips as best as you can, finding just where the tension is. Don't overdo it. If it feels too stretchy, then you need to relax a little bit. Keep breathing. Again, if too much blood comes to the head, just come up for that half lift. And when you come up for the half lift, there's a technique to this too. A lot of people just come up here and they're doing the hangy thing. No, you want to actually have a flat back, so just envision pushing the booty out. All right, so this kind of helps flatten the back. And it also, because you're activating the muscles over here, you're protecting that lower back and getting a little bit more of a workout than you would just be like hanging here. Like this is better. This is healthier for your body, having this activation. And then go ahead and let it back down, coming back into that forward fold. Let's come up into that half lift again. Big inhale, push the booty out, flatten that back. You can even squeeze the shoulder blades together. Nice activation. And then let it down once again. Then we're gonna come back up into that mountain pose. So inhale it up. Get your stretch. And go ahead, this time bring the palms down to heart center. Big inhale in, lifting up through the entire body. Exhale, pressing down. Check in on the neck. Make sure it's loose. Shoulders rolling down and back and not up at the ears. Big inhale in. Exhale, press down. All right, let's go ahead and take those arms up again, getting our stretch. Then forward, fold it, planting the hands and stepping it back to our plank. Now your plank might be that tabletop pose we did at the beginning, or maybe the knees are just coming down to the mat. Find your plank, whatever you can do for now, okay? And then you're gonna push those hips up and back for a down dog. So you're gonna have to come up onto the tips of your toes and push them up and back. All right. We're just gonna take a couple breaths, and then we're gonna do that one more time. We're gonna add one thing that comes after plank before our down dog. If you've been with me before, you know exactly what that is. So we'll come to it here in just a second. You can work those feet pedaling like I am. What's happening here is I'm gently stretching my hamstrings and my calves. I have very tight calf muscles because I like to run, but as for a yoga teacher, don't stretch enough, if you can believe it. So I am stretching those by pedaling my feet. If this is too much, you can stay still, trying to find that lift up and back, knees bent. Take one more big inhale, and then we're going to start to walk the feet forward for that forward fold again. So just take those little steps up, bringing the feet toward the hands, and then you can come up for that half lift since we've been in down dog for a second. And then take it back down to the forward fold, and then inhale it up, get a big stretch. We won't stay here long, just stretch it up. Then exhale, fold it forward, and we're going to plant the hands again and step it into that plank pose, again finding your plank. But this time, if you were in tabletop, go ahead and stretch those knees out for just a second, because what we're going to do is we're going to lower down. Now if you got some muscles, you could do this half lower, which is what you actually want to do, or you can just take it all the way down to the mat, which if you're just starting out is what you're going to want to do, is to go ahead and take it all the way down to the mat and then push up for a back bend. This is upward facing dog. Now, if you want to be technical, upward facing dog is actually up on the tops of the feet. So it just depends on your flexibility and your strength, but don't overdo it. Pay attention to your body. You can take it down for now, lift up, keep it simple. And also it's a little bit easier to pay attention to the back bend because everyone has a different level of back bend, okay? Pay attention to that. So I am right here when I do this, or I can come up and get a little bit extra. All right, then we're gonna push it up into that down dog. So come up onto those feet, the tips of your toes again, and push the hips up and back for that down dog. And breathe. Big inhale and exhale. Again, take another big breath. All right, now we're going to start working on the Sun B. So we finally did a complete Sun A. Now we'll work on Sun B. So for Sun B, we're going to start off in our down dog this time. Normally you'd start off in mountain and work your way back, but we're in down dog for now, and we're going to come into a warrior one, right side first. So before I step my right foot up, I'm actually going to move my left foot, stepping it up just a hair, just a little bit, and putting my heel down so my foot is at an angle. I'm able to touch the heel on the ground, knee bent, and then I'm going to take my right leg and step it up to the opposite side a little bit farther. Have a very short stance for starters, bends in both knees, and then inhale, bring that body up slowly. Take your time, don't get dizzy. And then once you bring yourself up, you can check on the stance. So the way you want this to be is this heel is staying on the ground nice and firm, and you can straighten the knee now if you want to. And this foot can come out a little bit more if it feels okay. What the object is to keep the hips squared to the front. So now, I got a back bend. Keep breathing, take the arms up, push those hips forward a little bit. Make sure there's no tension in that neck. Keep breathing. All right, awesome. We're gonna take another inhale up and then place those hands back down on the mat and step the back foot up to meet the front for our forward fold. Then come up halfway for that half lift. Exhale it back down into that forward fold. Inhale, take it up. Stretch it up, big inhale up. Palms together and down to heart center. Go ahead and take a grounding breath into mountain. Remember to lift up through the entire body. Pressing down firmly. And then inhale, hands up again. Stretching them up. And now we're going to have a seat into chair. So basically you're pretending you're sitting in an invisible chair. You're just going to bend those knees. Keep the chest lifted. Tailbone tucked. You're not pushing that booty out this time. This time you're tucking the tailbone. And you're just coming down. We'll just do a little tiny one. Take a breath. And then go ahead and come up. Push those hips forward. Lift that chest. Get a little tiny back bend. Exhale, fold it forward. We'll pause in our forward fold to relieve the lower back. Make sure that stomach has the stomach to thigh connection. Neck loose. And then next inhale, come up halfway. And then on the exhale, go ahead and come down, plant the hands and step it back into your plank pose. And we're going to lower it down for that chaturanga. Again, you can come down all the way to the mat if you want to. And then push it up for that upward facing dog. And then you'll push it back for the downward facing dog. And once you get there, make sure you take a nice big breath. Finding your down dog, feeling the lift up and back. And then we're going to come into warrior one, this time left side. So before we move the left leg, we move the right one up just a half step, putting the heel down at an angle, and then we move the left leg off to the opposite side of the mat. And then once we have that set, we very slowly inhale ourselves up. Take your time, don't get dizzy. Raising the arms up as you get there, and then adjust your stance as you want to, maybe widening it a little bit. Make sure the feet are on opposite edges of the mat. We're not walking a tightrope here, that's awkward. Nice, big railroad check. Legs, arms coming up. Big inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, ground it down one more time, big lift. And grounding. Then inhale up again this time. Exhale the hands back down to the ground and step the back foot up to meet the front for that forward fold. Then inhale it up halfway. Exhale it down. Inhale, raise it up, get your stretch. Palms together and down to heart center. Ground down into the mat with your inhale. And exhale. One more time, big inhale, lifting. Exhale, pressing down. Then inhale the arms up, and we're gonna have a seat into toe stand if you can. If not, that's okay. Just kind of squat down. We'll hold here for a second like a chair, and then we're gonna go down all the way. So my hips are coming all the way down to my heels. If you can't quite make it, that's okay. Just have a seat on the mat. This is just my way to get to the mat. I love toe stand, but it takes a while to build up the strength. Not everyone. So if your ankles have a problem, be very careful. Be gentle on your ankles. Toe stand may not be for you, but if it is nice to practice trying to come down to toe stand, because once you get it, it feels good. So if you can, keep practicing it. Big inhale, lift in through the body. Exhale, fold it forward. I'm in butterfly right now. My feet are touching. And breathe. Then go ahead and lift yourself up. Bring your knees together, push the feet out in front of you. You know, just to make sure you're on the top of your sits bones. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. You can bend the knees in this too. This is exactly like your forward fold. It is the forward fold, just now you're sitting. And then pick it back up. And we're gonna lay down on the mat. So I'm adjusting some more so I have room to lay down. I'm gonna stick my arms out and use my core to go down. If this does not feel good on the back, don't do it. You can just come down to the mat another way. That feels okay on the back. But this way you get a little core activation. So if you can, try to do this. And get a nice stretch once you get down to the mat. And relax down. You'll bend the knees up toward the chest and hug them in nice and tight. Let's spend a few seconds just on our back. And you can roll the knees side to side, kind of rocking on the spine if that feels good to the spine. It's kind of like a little massage. And then relax. You can kick the feet straight up into the air for waterfall. Waterfall, you want to have a lot of energy flowing through the legs, out through the soles of the feet. Feet are flexed, pointing back towards your face. And then we're going to lower them all the way down to the mat. So Be careful if this does not feel good on the back to lower them straight down to the mat. Again, getting another core activation. You can just bend the knees back into the chest and let them out one at a time. Take them slow all the way down to the mat. And then once you get there, relax everything. We're just going to do a quick body scan while we're in Shavasana pose. Take a big inhale into the body and then let it go. And then check in, let the forehead relax. Let any tension out of the brow. Relax the jaw, no clenching. Your shoulders are relaxed down into the mat. And start to check in on the arms, the torso, the legs. Is there any tension? Take a breath to it. A few more inhale and exhales. As we relax the body. By the end of the month, we will have a little bit more of a full Shavasana, but for now, go ahead and start to bend those knees up into the chest. Hug them in tight, squeeze them in. Maybe rock side to side. And then roll over and up into a seated position. And then once you get there, you can go ahead and shut the eyes down again, relax the shoulders back. Check in on the neck, make sure it's loose. Take a big inhale in, exhale it out. One more time, big breath. And release. And then next inhale, go ahead and bring those arms up. Touch the palms overhead and bring them down to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. I hope it's helped you build up a good foundation for your yoga. Please leave a comment, especially if there's anything that needs further explanation or for anything you want to see in the future. I would really appreciate it. Namaste.